Okay, we are recording. So, good afternoon, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, my name is McCall Tudo, and I am the Tourism Promotions Director at the Sauk Prairie Chamber. And then I'll have Lauren introduce herself here in a minute. Stephanie, also from the Chamber, is kind of helping us out today. She's in the background, allowing you all to come in. She's also kind of controlling the chat feature on here. So just to get into a couple of housekeeping things before we get going here. First of all, we just want to make sure if everybody could silence your mic. So that's down on the bottom. You'll see the little mic, and if you just tap on it, that should just silence you. Otherwise, if you are on a cell phone, just hit the mute button on your cell phone. Otherwise, we get a lot of background noise sometimes. Also, like Stephanie said, this session is being recorded. We just kind of have to notify everyone of that. Questions. So this is going to be really informal. Bear with Lauren and I as we get through this, as we have never done this before. With doing a presentation completely virtually. So questions, feel free to just jump right in if you want to take yourself off of mute and jump in if you want to do it that way. Otherwise, you can use the chat feature. And like I said, Stephanie will be monitoring those and can kind of chime in for us with questions that we have, especially if it's something that can maybe wait till the end, or if it's relevant to what we're talking about right now. So I guess this presentation was originally for a social media presentation that we were going to do in March, Lauren and I. And of course, that didn't happen. We ended up postponing. And so now we've kind of tailored that presentation to making it more relevant in today's climate. So hopefully, I know, kind of looking at who's on with us today, that we have a huge range of maybe people that don't know anything about social media and those people who are literally doing it for a living. So bear with us, especially those that do it for a living. Hopefully that you can gain a couple pieces of information out of this that will be relevant to you, or get some ideas. Also, those of you that really do this for a living, please feel free to jump in with any sort of ideas or thoughts that you have. I think during today's climate, the best thing to do is just team up. You know, we're stronger together, and how we can help each other as businesses. And we'll kind of be talking a little bit about that, about how businesses can team up. But otherwise, we're going to get into stories. We're going to get into live video, and also what channels you should be utilizing. But otherwise, we're going to be starting out with Lauren. And Lauren, I will have you introduce yourself and then get us going.
Sure. I'm Lauren Olson. I am the marketing director at Bank of Prairie du Sac. I've been there 3.5 years, going on 4 later this summer. So I handle all the bank's marketing, which does include social media. And I wanted to get started today by just talking about the foundation. So as McCall said, you know, for some of you, if this is your job already, you probably already know this stuff, but we wanted to at least make sure everyone had the same starting point. So one of the big questions I hear a lot of people ask is, you know, which platform should I even be on? What should I be using? We would typically say, you know, you don't need to be on every single platform. So then it's a matter of deciding what makes sense for your company, for your industry, and for the customers and the people that you're trying to reach. So up here we have kind of a graph that shows the purpose of each platform, what age range is on each platform overall. Obviously, you get some outside of that. And then the 3 columns on the right are, of those demographics, how likely are they to use the platform? So for example, Facebook, people living in a rural area are about 66% likely to be using that platform, versus Twitter, only really 13%. So that's something to consider, seeing as we're more of a small town kind of feel. And then you can also look at, do you tend to cater more towards women or men? How many, there's 42% of women are on Pinterest versus only 15% of men. So looking at those factors can help you decide, does this make sense for getting a message out where my people are that I want to be reaching? And then I should also mention, if you go to the bottom left of your screen, there's a meeting details. Oh, maybe not. Well, we do have the slides available as a PDF. So I think Stephanie will be able to send that out to people afterwards if you want a copy of some of the more dense data we might go through kind of quick. So in addition to who your customers are and where they are, you also want to think about what makes sense for your industry. So with me being at the bank, we don't have a lot to put on Pinterest. We don't have cute food. We don't have cute, stylish clothes, anything like that, home decor. And those are some of the industries that you can see really accelerate or benefit from using something like Pinterest. For us being personal finance, you can see everything's kind of similar as far as how much that gets used. But maybe if you're a restaurant, you can look and see Facebook is a good spot for you to be on. If you're more business focused and have a lot of other businesses as your customers, then LinkedIn might be a better channel for you. So you don't have to feel like you need to be on every single channel. Pick the ones that make sense for you and do those well. And then next, we just have kind of some basics on what you can be sharing on social media. So if you're unfamiliar, there are a few different ways you can interact. So the most common one is posting, and that's where you put up a picture, text, video, anything like that. You make a post on your page for everyone to see. Within those posts, you can also use tags, which would allow you to tag another individual or another business. Say you have something that you've put together with another business, you can tag that other business in your post, and your post will be seen by their followers. You can also use hashtags, which work kind of like links for different categories and topics. So a lot of them you might be like Motivation Monday, which is the day of the week thing. You can see like Dogs of Instagram is where people will post just all pictures. And so depending on the platform, people can follow specific hashtags for topics they're interested in. If you're interested in baking, you might follow hashtag baking. So even if you've never followed a certain company or person's page before, you'd be able to see their post if they use that hashtag. And then a little bit more, you can do comments just on other people's posts, on different groups, or on your own posts. You can do messages directly to individuals or other businesses, and those are private. And then stories, which is something McCall is going to get into a little bit later in the presentation. So here's kind of a quick overview of best practices where you can post images, where you can post videos, whether or not to use emojis or hashtags, because they're all kind of different depending on the channel you're on. So like I said, this will be more something as a resource for you to look at after the presentation. And then we wanted to give out a few ideas. These are ideas that we kind of started listing long before all of this happened. And now, of course, things have changed, but a lot of the ideas and what you can be posting stays the same. So we post for the bank a lot of stuff about our employees, our culture. We try and celebrate them on their anniversary dates. If the bank gets an award, if we have an upcoming event, if there's something we're doing with the community, we try and share that kind of thing. So we have a few samples on the screen of different posts we've done recently. And then here's some more about what the chamber tends to post.
Yeah, so right now, looking at what the chamber is doing, and I know that this is kind of more on a broad spectrum because we're promoting so many different things in so many different businesses. But looking at what we're doing a lot right now, we're really trying to concentrate on our customer reviews, getting more reviews. We're looking at what the state parks are doing. We're looking at what other businesses. It's really those community feel-good things that we're seeing that are really getting the most interactions lately. So anything that has to do with the amazing things that are going on, whether you were in the Sauk Prairie area or outside of it, really concentrating on those, and then maybe taking a look at how your business could fit into some of those, or how you could team up with a business that's maybe already doing something. So this kind of gives you an idea. Please feel free to go to our Facebook page, just kind of see what we've been doing. We're doing things like this, like virtual meetings. So if you were really an event-driven business before and you really were looking into doing a lot of those, maybe you can still be doing some of that. Maybe it's in, we've just started doing the chamber special, which is basically teaming up with a business to basically promote whether they want it to be one product, multiple products, a sale, teaming up with them to do an event online. It can last one day or more. And basically how it's tailored to however the business wants to use it. So thanks, Lauren. Getting into analyzing results. Now this is going to be a very brief overview of analyzing results. I really stress that if you want to get into analytics, to reach out to me, our contact information will be at the end. And we can really dive into your analytics together, especially now during this climate, and kind of seeing what's working for you and what's not. But I just wanted to show you briefly how you get into analytics and kind of what we're looking at as a business to see, are we doing well? Are we doing not? What should we be posting more of? Especially because now things are really different. From what we were posting before, we're seeing a huge change. Some things are the same, but a lot of things are different. So some things I wanted to highlight here is if you look on your left-hand side, this may look different for everyone. I find that as I work with each of our members. But underneath, up top, you'll see that white bar. So sometimes right in there, you're looking for the word insights. That can be right up top there. Otherwise, it can be underneath more. Click on that. That'll take you into the next page that I have screenshotted over there. And what that'll show you right away is the overview. Now, the overview is going to give you a quick look. Keep in mind that your overview only shows you typically 1 week or 1 month worth of data. And sometimes you want to keep that further out. Like right now, I'm looking for what's happening basically since the beginning of March to now, and kind of looking at the trends over that time. But otherwise, specifically, I wanted to point out posts. That's what I've got up here. This is where you're going to get the most concentrated information very quickly without getting too deep into your analytics. If you're just like, okay, what's been working lately that I really need to kind of dive into? So we're seeing kind of on our page, definitely that community, that feel-good stuff, our stuff about the class of 2020 and what the seniors are doing. Right now is what's really getting us a big reach and a big engagement. Also videos. Videos are doing really well for us right now, which we will get into that. The other thing I have highlighted here is that the bigger rectangular box where it shows reach, post clicks, reactions, comments, shares. So that's basically just giving you, if you're unsure of how to read these things, you can hover over those and it kind of dives into a little bit more as to what each of those things means. So basically, yeah, looking at what's changing for you right now. If it's the same type of posts that you've always been posting, are still doing, the ones that did well in the past, if they still are. Or if things are looking a little bit different. So we definitely know now that Tawana's face gets us a lot of likes right now. So it's getting her to do some of those videos and interacting with people, but also those community feel-good things, like I mentioned.
Yeah, and then you can look at what you've got posted, how it's performing, and use that to make decisions on what you keep doing. So like for us, we have the same thing where people like seeing faces of our employees. It's personal. They know them. They work with them. And so when we post something like an anniversary picture, we get a lot of likes. We get a lot of comments because people want to celebrate them, especially now. And that gets a lot more traction than just saying like, hey, look out for scams, which is a good thing for us to be posting. But by looking at the analytics, you can decide what makes sense to really focus on for your content. And so then next we had kind of how can you engage with people now when we're all at a distance and probably your business has seen some changes and everything's crazy. So these are a few ideas that we've found online through different pages we follow, through different local businesses or outside of the local area. And the first thing that we've seen a lot of companies doing is expanding what you offer. So that would be taking something you already offer and selling it in a different way. Maybe you can sell it online. Maybe you can do a Facebook Live and kind of show off your products or show off your services and have people shop that way, like OAF Boutique is doing. Sites like DeMarie and Home by Hurley, they've created online stores to allow people to shop so they have access to selling their products beyond just their brick and mortar store. In addition, you can offer new products in the ways you're already offering products, or maybe in new ways too. So like DeMarie, again, she has gone through and made all these little quarantine knitting activity packs. Knitting, puzzles, all these different activities have really gone up as people are spending more times in their home. So here is a way that she's getting her information out to more people. It's a thing people want to share because they want to let their friends know, hey, you can get this. It's a free resource for you. Mixing Bowl Bakery has gone from just being a bakery to all of a sudden also being a grocery store where you can order food during the week and come pick it up on the weekend. That's a really new product for them. And then like Retwist Tea, you know, they've got their normal storefront, but they've started adding in the masks, which are a big necessity for people right now, and selling stuff online as well. So making those changes, seeing what you know how to do and what you have the ability to offer can help you find areas for potential change.
And actually, Lauren, I think Teresa, are you able to, I think she's here with us today. I think I saw her hop on. If you would be willing to comment at all. So Teresa is with Retwist Tea, and possibly just how differentiating your product has maybe helped with with sales with other things in your business. Are you there, Teresa? Yes, there she is.
Yes, hello guys. I'm here. How are you guys?
Good.
So yes, we did the masks. Our primary focus, you know, initially was because we really wanted to be sure that we were, you know, supporting our community and helping everyone stay safe and just really letting everyone know that we care about this community. Offering something that we already do, we already make things, and so taking that, our art, our craft, what we do, and then adding it to, you know, taking care of our community was kind of like at the core of why we did that. We felt that it was very important to make sure that the largest number of people were able to get these masks, because you couldn't go out to Amazon and get them anymore. And so we were trying to think of a way that we could provide as many people these protective pieces as fast as we could. And it was amazing. People were going out there to our site. The way that the word spread was just, it was mind blowing. We have shipped masks to Washington, Nevada, California, all over the place, let alone right here in our community. And so it was very exciting to see that, the conversations that were happening about them. We couldn't keep them stocked. We weren't getting them in fast enough. So it was incredible. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for speaking to that. I think it just the way that a product you didn't have before, you kind of, you know, changed it up a little bit, and how it's brought more life to your online presence. I think that's really great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Then the next thing too, which kind of ties in with what they have with the online store, is see what can you offer digitally. So That might be even just something as simple as a gift card or a gift certificate. There are people out there who want to support your business right now. Give them a way to do so. Can you give them a coupon to get a service later? You know, if you offer haircuts, can you let them buy the haircut now and get it later? You know, if you offer business consultations, can you do that virtually or offer a certificate for people to be able to have access to later? Think outside the box as far as what you know and what you might be able to share with other people. One example that I've got on here that's a little bit random is this bakery out of London. And they've started doing some different stuff with their social media that we'll talk about later. But that has then led to them having a huge following. And they've been able to do stuff like online classes that they're charging money for. They've been able to offer ebooks or e-cookbooks for people to be able to download and print in their own home. So try and think about what you can maybe do. If you're used to meetings and trainings and appointments, see what you can do over video or over the phone. And if nothing else, like my salon has started using affiliate links. And so they're able to sell products through a different vendor, get a little bit of the cut because they shared the link and the information to that product with their customers and their following. So by doing stuff like that, it just helps bring in a little extra money and keep things going and staying afloat. And then some other ideas we've seen are about collaborating with other businesses. So for example, I live towards Wanakee, and I've seen that in the Wanakee downtown has started banding together, and once a week they are doing this drive-through order. They've got half a dozen or more businesses, as you can kind of see on the order sheet they have and in the description of the event. And it allows people to drive up, fill out an order sheet, pay all in one spot, and then have somebody else grab everything they have on their order sheet, stick it in the back of their car. They've got little cleaning wipes for you as you get your card handed back and forth, as you get your order sheet handed back and forth to help keep everyone safe. And it's allowed the community to be able to support a lot of businesses just simply and easily and safely, because they can go and they can get, you know, frozen meat and flowers for their mom and a pack of beer from the brewery that they like. And there's a huge variety of products that they've got, and they change it each week. So doing something like that is a new way to kind of band together all these different businesses.
Lauren brought this idea to my attention, and while I can't necessarily organize this business or this type of event, I'd love to be able to band together businesses that maybe would be interested in something like this. So if you're on this call and you're like, I want to get that started, or I think there's a way we could do this as a community, please reach out to me and I can start connecting those businesses that would be interested in something like this. So we could get this going in the Sauk Prairie area. I think that this would be something that could really help someone who's looking to push a certain type of product, or, you know, maybe they're not doing the best right now and they really need another avenue to get their product to people. I think Lauren can speak to how well this is going that's the Wanakee area, you said, right? You've seen that this is really, and you know, the product changes all the time. And I think it's one of those things that people want to support local. And if you give them a chance to do it in an easy, efficient way, because I mean, like, there's flowers on there, which I normally probably wouldn't buy flowers right now, but I'd be like, oh yeah, I need some flowers right now. I know money's not flowing for everybody, but if it's smaller things that are easier, the people that do have steady incomes right now, I think would really take advantage of this. So reach out to me if you would be interested in something like this, and we can kind of get those businesses together. So thanks, Lauren.
Yeah. And then the next one that I had seen is there's a industrial kitchen kind of on the east side of Madison, and I had followed one of the businesses that's located there. So it's a whole bunch of really small people all doing food-based business and needed an industrial space to be able to prepare food safely. And normally those businesses don't really interact much together, but what the the shared kitchen did is they created one website for people to go on to order products from all these different companies, plus some food trucks and different other local vendors. So they've put together, you know, a Bloody Mary gift box. They've got frozen pizzas, hot sauce. They've got the bakery doing little special orders of sugar cookies. They have an empanada stand selling frozen 10 packs of empanadas for you to bake at home. And so what they're doing is it's a lot of businesses all coming together rather than everybody having to make their own website for their own products. They've made it in one consolidated space for people, and it allows it to be really easy for someone to support them. They're doing a range of days to order, and then they'll deliver like Fridays and Saturdays. So you can order Sunday through Wednesday for weekend delivery. And it just makes it easy for people to support a variety of companies. And it makes it so I get exposed as the customer to a huge variety of businesses that I otherwise wouldn't see. For example, I've never heard of the Off the Block company, but I knew about a bakery that was located there. So it's giving better exposure to all these different businesses that they didn't get before on social media and just general awareness. And then kind of tying into that, we've seen people, especially now, putting together gift boxes or themed products. You can get, you know, a little old-fashioned mix kit from Wollersheim. People are putting together little date nights with craft kits, or Mother's Day gifts with flowers and baked goods. And, you know, it could even be a craft kit for the kids to do. So there are a lot of different options. Think about what could you offer, who could you collaborate with? And then from the social media perspective, when you are tagging other, or when you're working with other businesses, if you tag them in your posts, if you make events together, it just widens your exposure and it makes it so more people can find you, and it helps out fellow businesses as well by sharing your followership with them.
I think if anyone has any questions kind of about doing a gift box type thing, Home by Haley would probably welcome any questions. She did where you could do your own Easter eggs around Easter time. And I know that she just had an amazing amount of people reach out to her wanting those, and she sent them to people, and kind of how that worked. That was more so when you couldn't do a pickup at the store. So now I think you can be doing those things, so that might make it a little bit easier. And then Wollersheim is doing like their old-fashioned kits on Fridays and things that you could pick up. So there are some businesses doing that if anything like that sounds like, oh, I should team up with Wollersheim and we could get a box including XYZ or something like that. I think this is a great way for businesses to team up and do things together, make it work.
And think outside the box, you know, think about what people need right now. Maybe it doesn't sound that exciting, but if people are sitting at home and they've got home projects, you know, it could be as simple as like a painting kit where you give them the brushes and the tin and a roller and a gallon of paint. It doesn't have to be anything super exciting. People are trying to figure out how to support the seniors this year as they're graduating and not necessarily being able to host graduation until later in the summer. So think about where those needs are. Think about, you know, birthdays, anniversaries, and even just a date night or a fun night out. People are spending more time at home, so they're looking online more. They're shopping online a lot, and anything you can do to be in that space is going to benefit your business.
All right, looking at building content to attract our customers, particularly during this climate. So the main things we're going to look at are videos and stories. So looking at how can you change it up from what you were doing, or if you weren't doing videos, how can you start doing them? And then also looking at stories, stories on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you haven't been doing those, I'm going to show you how to post to those and maybe give you some ideas of what you can be doing. So this kind of looks at, first of all, we kind of wanted to bring attention to the fact that I think I'm even used to the video quality and production that we typically do usually looks really nice and edited and put together. Well, that's not even happening in celebrities' homes. So let's just say that no one is expecting you to have some beautiful put together video that's edited and has graphics and all of that. Everybody is expecting something that's coming from home. If you have the ability to do the editing and all of that, more power to you. That's awesome. But we just want to give this that it's, if anything, the celebrity world or the news world has made it a little bit easier for people even like myself who hates doing live videos, but going on and doing a video and it having, be in my kitchen basically, and being okay with it, and it'll be good because that's what everybody's expecting lately. So don't be scared by just putting something out where you're basically just like this and you're just talking to your customer. Some other things is, so this is that bakery that Lauren was talking about earlier, and how they basically started doing some how-to videos and some behind the scenes stuff, and their followers, it just exploded. So looking at ways that you can change things up where they weren't doing that before, correct, Lauren? They weren't.
Right. They had done in-person classes before, and they'd always wanted to get online. And you know how it is. We just don't have time because every day is so busy. We already have a lot on our plate. And so they said, we aren't able to do our in-person classes. Their in-person sales were obviously going down as London is very much under quarantine. And so they started every day at 2 o'clock doing an Instagram live video. And Instagram live videos are only up for 24 hours. So you either see it or you don't. And so they weren't trying to create a whole video library. They just wanted to share their love of baking with people while they're home, while they need something to do. And you can see on the post that they have 165,000 followers. I can guarantee that 8 weeks ago, they probably didn't have more than 50,000 followers, and that's being pretty generous. But by doing these classes, they've gotten some PR articles posted of people saying like, hey, check out this bakery doing this thing online. It's gone viral. And they've been able to use it to sell cookbooks. They've started putting together e-cookbooks for people to download. They've started a whole second social media channel about just doing sourdough that they're now running extra stuff on there. And they've been able to raise donations for groups that are important to them, all just by creating this content and then figuring out how does that support your business objectives and bring in income as you need it.
And I know we're not all retailers that are on the call, retailers and or restaurant type businesses. So I think maybe too, for those that aren't in that space, it's looking at, maybe it's showing the behind the scenes of whatever it is that you do, showing them how the product is made, or how you're working with customers now, what's different, even personal stories that are happening with you right now that are maybe they don't have anything to do with your business, but saying, hey, here's what me and my family are doing right now, just to keep us sane, kind of things like that. Videos are doing so well in the social media world that in anything that you can be putting out there is going to benefit you, definitely. So looking at, here's a little bit of some things that have been happening in the Sauk Prairie area. So I don't know how many of you have seen the All By Myself in Sauk Prairie. It is absolutely hilarious. If you have not seen it, I highly recommend watching it. And it also stars our executive director, Tawana. So, but it's looking at things like that it involves so many businesses, kind of maybe some well-known people in the community, but it doesn't have to be well-known, but just doing something funny, something that people are going to want to watch, and it's getting your business exposure. So through those links, River Arts Inc. is the one that started it, and then they're able to tag businesses in it. It's getting shared. Just getting you that exposure right now, especially if your business is closed or you are really limited as to what you can do right now. It's just keeping your brand top of mind so that, and through doing something fun like this. Dee Marie, she's doing some how-to videos. So she's kind of tying it all together where you can pick that kit up. You can look at photos of what you want to make, and then she's going to go through videos. You could basically have taught yourself how to knit at home. And all that's, it's doing an amazing thing for her of just keeping her brand top of mind and saying, hey, I'm a retailer. Normally there's tons of people in my shop. We can't do that right now. So just keeping her product top of mind. And then Wollersheim Winery, Distillery, they're always doing some fun stuff. This Friday, I believe Philippe is going to be doing a live wine tasting. So I think that will be really fun. That's a great crew over there. But yeah, some out of the box things that they haven't done before. Just looking at it that way.
And two, if you're doing a recorded video, people can like and share and comment on that. With a live video, especially on Facebook, where you have the option to have them stay on your page, unlike Instagram where they go away. The nice thing about live videos is people can comment in real time. So for example, with the tasting, he can start a video, go live, and people can comment and ask questions. Hey, what are you tasting now? Or where do I get this? And people can ask questions that you can respond to as you're doing the video broadcast. And that makes it really nice and interactive. And you can see like people end up commenting just like crazy on live videos because it becomes a conversation. So that's the big benefit of live over recorded. But either way, especially on Facebook, you get to have it be part of your social media profile moving forward. It doesn't just go away like it does on Instagram if it's live.
Perfect. Thanks, Lauren. So looking at stories, I really wanted to talk about stories just because our stories have really grown. Looking at moving into 2020, even before this pandemic, they were predicting stories to have huge growth this year. And some early studies, as you'll see here in March, they're already showing an extra 15 to 20% growth in the story world, both on Instagram and Facebook, as compared to what it was before. So right now, if you're not utilizing stories, I'm going to show you how to do it. It's really easy, especially if you're already doing posts. It's just kind of one extra step with those posts, and it's a really easy way to capture, especially the younger millennial crowd. Social media will most likely be moving in that direction, and obviously the millennials are what's really utilizing all of that. We just want to stay relevant and keep growing with them. So let's head into Instagram stories, I believe. Oh, this is just, okay. Showing you where both of them exist at the moment. So if you know nothing about stories, but within your social media accounts, when you first bring them up, this is showing where they exist for Facebook and where they exist for Instagram. There are also stories in Snapchat if you have Snapchat. Typically, Lauren and I both, in the Snapchat world, if we're doing anything business related, it's basically creating filters at events or, being part of the chamber. We have a community filter that people can use when they're out into the community. But otherwise, we've done one time we advertised on Snapchat when it was for a youth dance and when we really wanted to capture that under 18 crowd. But otherwise, I'm basically just going to be elaborating on Instagram and Facebook just because those are the biggest ones where we're using, especially on Instagram. That's where stories first started, and that's where you're going to get your biggest exposure. And then Facebook is up and coming. They're really growing their story platform as well. So this is something that you post and it disappears within 24 hours. You can take your posts that you've already done and you can just post them to your story. Otherwise, you can create a new story that's additional content into something you've already done. But best practices is if you're posting it online, you should be posting it in your story and vice versa. It's just another way for people to see what you're doing. If you really get creative, you can have a theme to your posts. Typically right now, I try to, and it's a little bit more difficult during this time because I just want to get the content out there to people. You know, I'm talking all about our restaurants one day, or I'm talking all about our retailers another day in our stories, and or outdoors stuff. You know, like Fridays, I try to concentrate on what all the restaurants are doing as far as old-fashioned stuff with Willersheim, or the Friday night fish fries that are out there, things like that. And the other day, I concentrated more on Mother's Day and the Mother's Day gifts that you can find in the area. You can also create a how-to with your stories, and that's kind of once you are a little bit more experienced with the story. It's actually going through either doing multiple videos in a row showing a how-to of how to create something, how to make something, things like that. So you can get really creative. The more I'm getting into it, the more fun I'm having with it. So first we'll jump into Instagram. Thank you. So this is just a how-to with Instagram. If you don't have an Instagram account, I highly suggest to get on. Even if you're not a business that isn't posting, you know, in more of the retail space, it's really easy to post beautiful photos and things like that. Even if you're not in the retail space, this is a way to be capturing that younger crowd that's obviously just going to keep getting older. Instagram is where it's at basically right now. Where you saw those stats in the beginning, it's kind of a 30 and under, where Facebook is going to be for a little bit older crowd. So I just highly recommend, if anything, just get started with that Instagram account, and then you can kind of keep it moving from there. So this just shows with Instagram kind of a step-by-step on how to post to your story. So the first one on your left is showing that, okay, here's a post that I've already done. And now clicking on what I'm going to call the kite. I don't know how.
It's like a paper airplane.
Yes, exactly. So clicking on that, and that'll pull up the next slide, which will show add post to your story. And I am under my business account. So for those of you that will have a personal business, obviously make sure you're under your business account, and say post to your story. And then it'll go to the next slide where it shows, so up top there on that last one on the right, that's where you can add in text. You can play with filters. You could tag another business. You could tag a place. So for example, with places, like I'm tagging, like today I did one for the Ferry Bluff overlook. So I tagged that people knew that this beautiful photo of the river, that's from that overlook. So, and then I wanted to show you Instagram first, because Instagram makes it easy to post automatically to Facebook. Now this will post to your Facebook story. So it automatically will go right to your Facebook story. You cannot do it the other way. So you can't post to your Facebook story and post to your Instagram story. But if you go this way, it makes it easy, and you've done it both right at the same time. So that is a setting that you would have to set up, saying that I always want it to be posted to Facebook. But should you not want to post something to Facebook, you would not click on where it shows both of those icons right there. Instead, you would click to the send to, and then you could unclick Facebook. I know that gets a little out there if you're so not used to using this. So please let me know, give me a call. We can go through this step by step, but really it is just playing around with it. That's how you get used to it. The last thing I wanted to point out with stories is we talked about hashtags and things like that earlier. Hashtags are really meant for Instagram. While you can use them on Facebook, they're not as heavily searched on Facebook, where on Instagram they are heavily searched. So on the first one on the left, I show how I have a box around the magnifying glass. You would click on that, and in there you can be searching. So like right now, I'm trying to find photos of the Great Sauk State Trail and the restaurants that are in the area and the businesses that are in the area. So I can actually look up those businesses and see random people that have an open account that have posted photos hey, here's me on the Great Sauk State Trail today. Looks beautiful. I can then take that photo and repost it out to the world. Makes my job really easy. But you can also search actual hashtags. So this is where the hashtags really come into play, is when I'm like, okay, someone is done hashtag Sauk Prairie, hashtag Sauk Prairie Strong, especially right now. And that's where I'm seeing people in Sauk Prairie taking those hashtags from something like Chalk Our Walk. And they've done some amazing chalk work that, you know, is honoring our EMTs and our first responders. And I'm able to take that post and then put it out for the whole world to see. So it really just makes your job easy. It's a way to find content really easy. But then also it has us to remember that when you post something on Facebook, or Instagram particularly, Instagram, that you should be hashtagging it with as many hashtags as you can think of. And on the first post, you can't see my hashtags necessarily because it's on the click more. But there's probably at least 4 or 5 there, if not more. And that's just a way so that other businesses that want to find something like this, that didn't even maybe know that our small business relief fund existed, they could go out there, and if someone put in the search bar, put in, you know, hashtag Sauk Prairie or hashtag Sauk Prairie Strong right now, or small business relief, anything like that, this would come up. So just an easy way to find content. All right, so now we'll head into Facebook is our next one. So Facebook, it is a little bit difficult in the sense, both of these, is that, and please, if someone is more tech savvy with social media in this sense and can help me out here, let me know. But from what I'm finding, you can basically just do it from your phone of a post that you've already done. That's where I'm finding it the easiest. So if anyone else has an easier way to do that, but this shows when you're on your phone, and this is a post that you've already done to your account. And so it's showing under the share button, you would click there first, and it's going to pop up with multiple options. And you can see our business account, it's tied to my personal. But then I'm going to say share to a page's story. And now you can see all the pages there that we manage at the chamber. And of course, most of the time we're just using the chamber page. So if you do have multiple business accounts, just make sure you're clicking the correct one. And I'm going to go to share to the Sauk Prairie Chamber. And then it's going to pop up right into what it would look like on my story. So again, up at the top, like on Instagram, you're going to see filters. You're going to see where you can put in text. There's not as many options with Facebook and with stories, but still enough to give you some ways that you can kind of create something beautiful for your story. And then you'll see down at the bottom is the share now button. And basically then it posts it right away to your story. Should you notice that something is kind of not correct with your story, once it's posted, you can easily delete it off within the story. There's just a setting there that makes it pretty easily to delete or edit, things like that. So that's a lot, but I guess moving on, that's basically it for stories. So we can kind of, we're slowly coming to an end here, but if anyone has they really want to dive into stories, be sure to reach out to me. Otherwise, we can answer some questions too here at the end as well.
Yeah.
So, creating an exit plan.
So as hard as it might be to predict or guess what's going to come next in this, now is really a good time to think, how are we going to transition? So, we have no idea how long things will be, what restrictions we have now or in the future as things get lifted or change. But it's a great time to think, what is your business able to do now? Maybe you haven't had time for a website or for social media in the past, but getting it set up now while you have time can help set you up for success now and in the future. You know, as things get lifted, if all of a sudden your business is able to act in a more full capacity or in a more limited capacity, how would you be ready to make those changes? And if you start doing something special now, like for example, doing online consultations or offering, gift cards or doing everyday, videos, is that something you would plan to continue as restrictions get lifted? Or is that kind of a temporary thing? So by working on, your digital platforms, making updates to your business in other ways, and just figuring out what you can do now and how you can plan for the future, it can really help set you up for success no matter what industry you're in. Everyone's getting hit in different ways. With the banking, we've been having to deal, with quick response to helping with the PPP loans, supporting our local businesses, helping with mortgage refinancing as the rates have gotten lower, and we still are continuing, to run our daily business just without our lobby being open. We have the online account opening and all these different features to help people still get the services we offer, but remotely. Think about what does your business already do. Give yourself a little pat on the back if you've got yourself set up already to do a lot of this stuff. But think about, what can you add? What can you do differently? And think ahead to how you might respond as things change, because they're just gonna keep changing.
Yeah, and I think if there was anything that I heard more before all this started, and it was, I don't have time for social media. I don't have time to make those changes on my website. Or it's something that just always falls behind. That if you found yourself in a spot where you have a little bit of extra time to start doing those changes to your digital platform that you always wanted to do, or getting familiar with Facebook with things that that you've never done before. Everyone is online right now. So to me, if you're not going to capture or cultivate that audience that's already out there of a ton of people who may be bored or may be online a lot, you're kind of missing out there. So this is where I want to extend my services at the chamber. And be able to help you with a plan or to help you with thoughts or ideas of how you could put your business out there right now, or a way to capture that that audience that's on there. So we're really seeing a growth in a lot of our platforms, and I just want to see that for all of our members as well. So any way I can help make any of your businesses more successful, or just getting through this time, please let me know. So Lauren just popped up the now's the time for questions, whether you just want to pop in and actually talk to us all and say a question. Otherwise, you can use the chat feature. But definitely reach out to either of us, and myself, especially as your tourism promotions director, and wanting to help all of you, make it through or succeed during this time. So anyone, questions? We'll give it a minute here. Even if you see that there is another business online that you possibly wanted to ask a question to, or maybe what they're doing, or even if it's something more specific. I know this was kind of a lot of information crammed into a short period of time. Also, a huge overview. So for some of you, this may have been like, oh yeah, duh, I already know this stuff. And for some of you, it's like, whoa, this is a lot. I don't know how to take it already or take it in. So whatever level you're on, please let me help you navigate that if you need it as well.
And if you're not sure either, the chat feature is at the top right. I see a few coming in, but that's where it lives if you are wanting to just type a question, or otherwise just hit unmute, and we have a few minutes yet.
This is Connie from Bonham, and I had one of my employees set me up in Instagram in May of last year. And we found out after he set me up, and he took a post from our Facebook and put it on Instagram I found out afterwards that you can't post from a computer. You have to have a smartphone. I now have a smartphone, but I cannot figure out for the life of me how to create a chat or a post or whatever you call it on Instagram, much less moving it from Facebook to Instagram. So I need someone like to hands-on step 1, step 2, step 3. So maybe McCall and I can
Yeah,
work on that later.
Connie, we could either do some sort of chat like this, or I might be able to show you like with photos that I could send you some stuff with photos and see if that helped right now. But either way, Connie, I will reach out to you and we can go over those together for sure. It works
Sounds
best.
good. And I have gloves, I have masks, and I have gowns. If you need it, we can do it in person.
Perfect. Perfect.
All right. Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, Connie.
All right. Anything else? Just checking the chat here. Okay, well, I think that's it. If anybody does have, obviously, contact me if you have questions offline. But thank you all for attending. I hope everyone was able to get something out of this. I'm so proud of all the businesses in the Prairie area and everything that you all have been doing to stay Sauk Prairie strong and to promote this community through all of this. It really is truly amazing to see how businesses have changed and flourished and what they've done to make things work right now. You truly are all making my job very easy as far as posting and promoting the businesses that are out there. So I can't thank you enough. And Lauren, I can't thank you for teaming up with me through this. And Lauren has a plethora of knowledge in that head, I swear. She's on my promotions committee and she's absolutely amazing. So I'm sure she'd be willing to take any questions or thoughts if you want to reach out to her as well.
Yes, definitely. Send me an email if you got anything that I talked about that you want more information on, or if I can help in any way. You know, as the bank, we're focused on the Sauk Prairie community, and we really want to make sure all the local businesses have the tools and resources they need. The chamber does such a phenomenal job of, you know, sharing everyone's posts and supporting every business right now. And if there's anything we can do to help, we'll be there for you.
Awesome. I guess, yeah, that brings up just one last point here, that if you do post something while I am trying to keep an eye on all of the businesses that are on social media and what you're doing, but if you do post something that you really would like the chamber to put out there or repost, please send me a message. Please ship it my way so I can get that information out to everyone that we're with on social media. That is our main focus right now, is to promote our businesses and what they're doing and how they're staying afloat, or, you know, changes that they've been making. We also have a page on SaukPrairie.com where we're updating all business hours, or, you know, if things are by appointment, whatever changes there are there with all of our businesses, we've got that on SaukPrairie.com. So please keep us posted. Stephanie and I are trying to keep up with all of our businesses, but there are over 300 of you, so it can be a lot. But otherwise, again, thank you guys all so much for tuning in today. And again, reach out if you've got any questions. So have a good day, everybody.
Thanks for coming.